My new book is called A Return to Common Sense. I sort of came on the scene explaining political content to people the way normal people speak. I go by PoliticsGirl online, and I found that I started the project because no one in my life cared about politics. And essentially I thought, I think it's just based on lack of knowledge, and I don't want people to feel bad about that. I think there's a reason we don't know that much about politics or how it works or how the system works or how to change it or how to fix it. And that's because we're not really taught it anymore. No one really knows how the system works. You might get a basic American politics class, and then that's it, and you're done. And I wanted to explain the nuance of politics to people in a way that they could take it in.
Talk to me about what America was like when the original Common Sense came out.
Well, America wasn't America when Thomas Payne wrote Common Sense. He wrote this 47-page pamphlet at the crossroads of a nation. And it was, do we go independent or do we stay part of the British Empire? And Thomas Payne was very clear that we were not part of the British Empire, that we were our own nation, and we should be an independent nation. And he wrote this very persuasive piece of literature at a time where people didn't really know which way to go. And I actually think that Thomas Payne's writing directed the Founding Fathers to really write the Declaration of Independence, because it pushed the sentiment of the nation really hard towards independence, and the Founding Fathers took that up.
Talk to me about the substance of the book. How do you divide it? You know, how is it structured?
Yeah.
What are these key points that you were talking about?
Yeah, well, listen, the very first part of the book is just America 101, because I want us to all start from the same page. And I think a lot of people, by no fault of their own, don't really understand how our government works. So the very first section of the book, which is very short, just explains every part of our government, how it works, how we make laws, how we vote, what a primary is. And I say at the very beginning of it, like, if you already know this stuff, skip this section. If you don't know it as well as you'd like to, maybe read through it. And if you want to come back at some point and be like, what was the legislative branch? You can go back and check it out. And then it goes into 6 American principles, which I think are 6 foundational thoughts that no matter where you sit on the political spectrum, really make America America. So whether you're a Republican or an independent, or you don't vote at all, or you're a Democrat, you would say, yeah, that feels like a very American thing. That's America to me. The very first principle is America is a land of freedom, right? And most people are like, yes, I believe that. We use those pillars to kind of build a stronger, better nation on, and also as a lens to look at things like our politicians or our legislation or things that happen and say, does this fall into the 6? Does this line up with what I believe are fundamental American principles? And if it doesn't, then that person probably has no business in politics, or that legislation probably has no business being passed.
So you're doing some great work in civics education, it seems, which has kind of fallen out of favor.
Yeah, no, civics education has definitely fallen out of favor, but the book is definitely not written like a textbook. It's written more like a conversation with your nerdiest friend who was really passionate about something, but it's quite funny. I started this particular project with what are called rants, where I stand in my kitchen, and it is my real kitchen, and it is a mess, and people think, oh, it's a green screen. It's not a green screen. I would not have a pull-up bar in the background if it was a green screen. And I just break down political issues into digestible, bite-sized pieces so people can really understand what's going on without it feeling too overwhelming. But I think the filibuster is one of those things that when you understand what it is, you're like, what? I had no idea, because we often blame the government for not getting anything accomplished without knowing why they're not getting things accomplished. And one of the things that stops accomplishments in the Senate is something called the filibuster. It used to be like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, where a senator had to stand up and make an impassioned speech for a period of time and explain why a bill was terrible.
I remember Senator Rand Paul eating a candy bar.
Yes, and Senator Ted Cruz read Green Eggs and Ham on the floor.
There you go.
I mean, these are things people might remember. But now they just have to send an email. They basically say, you need 60 votes to pass a major bill. So if you are the Democrats in the House right now, for a while, we had 50 votes plus 1 with the vice president, but you needed 10 votes from the minority party to get something passed. They're not giving you 10 votes, and all they had to do was send an email to the majority leader and say, we're not giving you any of our votes. We're not giving you 10 votes to get past the filibuster, so your bill's dead. So the people say, well, why did you promise us a raise in the minimum wage, but we didn't get it. When the majority of the country wants something. Well, they didn't get it because we needed what's called cloture to pass it, which is the 10 extra votes, which is 60 votes in the Senate. And we can never get it because it serves the minority party to stop the majority party from getting wins, because then it makes the president look good. And so this is something the regular public doesn't know, and we just get annoyed.
Leigh Mcgowan. I'm going to check it out. Thank you so much.